there will still be an Elon presentation. This and much more in this Countdown to Launch.
So about those launch dates, I think that may delay a bit.
We have liftoff. Propulsion continues to be nominal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Traveling up. Roger, with planet.
Water powers fly! Yes!
Tango down to nominal.
Flight downside SPD off. Bring in SPD off. It's orange!
R45! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage.
Look at this!
Put that in the big bag,
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
There's nothing to be exciting and clear, correct?
Ship 36 just blew up.
Yikes.
Keep that. We don't need any more of these.
Apparently, I have to repeat what I just said. 100 hours, actually a bit less than 100 hours, away from the opening of the window for Starship Flight 10. And today, apparently, they just have Alex and me here doing the show duo. So, Alex, how are you doing? Why are they still letting us do this? Just us two.
I don't know. I think we are in terrible danger here with just us two. But I think we also have two gods today here producing. Anyways, but yeah, that was quite the intro, I guess, with that mute. Yeah, I mean, there was some confusing things going on today. I'm sure we're gonna talk about all of that, and there's also a lot of the preparations as well to roll out Booster 16. Hopefully tonight. Let's hope for that. But yeah, man, there's so many things to talk about. We may also touch on the weather because I think that's been recently a bit of a point of yeah, worry. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely. It's quite an exciting day on the news front. And as always, if you have any question, we will have some time today to answer plenty of your questions about the upcoming Starship flight. So yeah, make sure to tag either at NSF or at NASASpaceflight in chat, and we will get them into the handy tool here and get to as many as we can. But let's start with the NOTAM confusion, Alex, because we saw some NOTAMs for the 25th going up today. We saw some NOTAMs that have been corrected to the 24th. What was happening? What is it still on?
Yeah, I mean, we saw this for the notice to airmen for the August 25th for the area of Cuba, and it began right on the 25th, and we're like, is this a typo or anything? Because sometimes, let's be honest, like there's dozens of notices like this that have to go out, and like just the launch, the launch area alone, you've got parts that are on American airspace, but there's also parts on Mexican airspace. There's like different places of the American airspace as well, where it's split, and then there's like in the middle you have Cuban airspace as well here as the one that we're seeing here right now. It's precisely that one. And so, and then even further downrange, you've got Turks and Caicos. You've got even one further off the coast of French Guiana. Like there's a bunch of different areas. So there's a bunch of different notices and whatnot. So sometimes it's not unheard of or unseen, I guess, of seeing, you know, this sort of thing where they do a typo. They have a typo on one of these notices, and instead of typing 24, they type 25. And so it was sort of more like an eyebrow raising kind of thing where it was like, huh, well, okay. Then there was another notice. I don't remember exactly which one it was, but it also said the 25th. And then we were like, what is going on? But no, just to reassure people, it is not delaying. They have modified this back to 24th. But it is one of those things that happens as we get closer to the launch, where it's like, notices are appearing, they are popping up, they are being released and all of that. All of the different verbs for the same thing, which is, you know, getting people noticed of this launch happening. And the thing is, sometimes you see this kind of thing, and it's totally normal, right? But it did add confusion today to whatever may happen on Sunday, whether we're gonna have a launch of Starship or not. There's many things to deal with when it comes to preparing a launch, and just the notices. It's one of those things that we always rely upon because it usually tells us things that we may not be aware of, such as delays or different, like sometimes even before SpaceX gives any more information about a launch profile, we may see something different on the notices, and now it's going one way or the other, especially with Falcon 9 launches, which are happening every 2 or 3 days. So yeah.
Absolutely. I feel at this point quite confident that just somewhere somebody just put the wrong date on a paperwork. I don't know if it's SpaceX, I don't know if it's FAA, but at this point it feels like somebody just submitted the wrong date somewhere. And then there was probably some people being like, why are people wondering if we're still on track? Confusion happening, and then they corrected it. So at this point, we can very much assure you everything, from what we can tell, is still on track for the 24th. So at least that's our current understanding of the situation. Of course, there could always be things that change. We will get to the weather from people that are way more qualified than Alex or me to talk about it in a bit. And the weather, I will tease you. It's not the greatest looking weather we have always seen. We had better days, but we had worse. So let's talk about a few more things here, Alex. We with the NOTAMs now being up, what are we still missing? Are there still some elements that they would need for Sunday that we are still lacking, or something that could showstop this on a regulatory side?
I think we're still getting those notices. I'm not sure if Jay has Pizza's website to show this, but there's like multiple different notices. You've got the launch notices, you've got the reentry notices, and they're filling it up. It's like just getting everything together and all that. Other than that, we've got the launch license, we've got the launch approval from the FAA. They just need to get the vehicles out and have the pad ready. Today we saw them removing a lot of the scaffolding inside of the ring, because the one on the top of the ring, that one needs to be removed, of course, before the launch happens. But for the booster to be put on the launch mount, it doesn't really matter if there's a bit of scaffolding around the launch ring, like on top of it. It just needs to come out from inside, right? That's where the booster sits. So there you can see that website from Neat Pizza, one of our colleagues, I guess, and you can see the blue parts are all the marine notices, the red parts are all the aerial notices, depending on the airspace in one place or the other. So you've got a little bit of the NOTAMs on the side of the Turks and Caicos. You've got the Cuban NOTAM as well. There's none yet for American airspace or Mexican airspace, but they'll come out sometime in the next few days. They all come out at some point. And then on the reentry side, if we can get to that, I'm gonna give a minute or so. Jay, there we go. So you can see, by the way, you can see that one off the coast of French Guiana, but then you can see the reentry. We only have one little part on this side next to Madagascar. Eventually it's gonna go all the way out to to Western Australia, but there's like multiple airspace locations, so those should be coming out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's a thing. They come over time. Like we saw that last time as well, where they just popped up over the week and getting ready. At this point, I kind of want to introduce a third voice here that will join us for a bit. Chris Bergen, do we have you?
Yeah, well, I was thinking basically if you got Alex on, maybe you get some short answers. You might need a third voice. So I thought pop in. Well, yeah, that's never going to happen. No, I was in chat. I thought, well, it's a bit rude not to turn the microphone on, just join in. So I thought I'll join in. Problem is, I'm not hosting, so you're going to give me questions and I don't know the answers. Oh no, what do I do now?
I mean,
well, I got a question for you.
I mean, I can go ahead, Alex. Throw a question to Chris. I'm curious what you're throwing at him.
What do you think are the chances that we get a launch this Sunday? Like, do you feel, what are your vibes? Because I really want to get some of your opinion there.
Well, first of all, I can leak a little bit because when those NOTAMs were playing around with our minds with the 25th suggested, we all do what you expect us to do, is go and ask the people in the know. I'll leave it at that, the people in the know, if they've heard anything. And everything we were getting back was saying, no, still 24th. And that was all through the day. So the fact that they've changed them back a bit, again, back to the 24th, kind of fits. So we are feeling confident the 24th is going to be their attempt. The second part, that being, I think because Starship has proven it's not one of those vehicles that likes to scrub during a countdown. I think it's only done it once. Am I thinking right there? It's only ever scrubbed once. Alex, can you remember?
I think we had.
For
I think
in terms of scrubbing. Sorry, go ahead, Adrian.
I think we had more. It's not once. It's like we had a few. There was one, I think, where they had a bit of an issue with, I think, stuck valve or something. There was something too cold, if I remember correctly. There were multiple times where they scrubbed like late into the countdown, right? Where they already were into fueling, and then we had some scrubs.
There was,
It's just
There was 8, Flight 8. We got one where they held twice, I think, at T40. Like they went to T40 seconds, then they opened up they had the hold, then they lifted the hold, and that was when an automatic part or something like that, it just said nope, and it aborted again, and then we had the psych from Dan Hewitt. And then they tried 3 days after that. But yeah, in terms of scrubs, technical scrubs and things like that, we only have had 2 of them. And it's also worth mentioning that Flight 8 did not have any wet dress rehearsal, so that was probably part of the whole thing. But then Flight 9 did not have any, and it did launch on the first try. It did have a hold in the countdown, but it did not scrub that day.
So basically, the second part of my answer is...
Sorry.
What were we talking about? No, I'm joking. I feel this vehicle has proven its worth as far as first attempt launches. I really do feel confident that if they get into the countdown on Sunday, the weather all cooperates. The vehicle side, I mean, it may have the holds, they may have like the conditions of the propellant, like the temperatures and what have you, maybe a little hold for that. But as far as the actual window, I'm very confident we're going to get a launch on Sunday. I really do feel we're going to get it one on Sunday.
I mean, their reliability to get to the launch window, even that few scrubs we had, it's still ridiculous how often they get this thing off the ground on the first attempt, even on the second. I remember before Flight 1, we all talked about how this thing will scrub tons of times, and then it just didn't. Like then they just made it work. I think there's still a good chance that once they move into like Block 3. And we see major changes again to the ground support and the tank farm, there's still a good chance that we will see some scrubs again, or a higher chance that we will see one, because, well, it's a new infrastructure. You have to learn that again as well. But I think overall, very impressive still how reliable they get Starship off the ground.
Yeah,
I wonder.
Sorry, Alex, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was going to quickly just make a point about reliability and the future of this vehicle. When they do have this projection where it's going to be a fast turnaround vehicle, it's going to be launching every single day or twice a day, as they were projecting in the long-term future, you don't want a vehicle that's constrained by things which would normally, even with a fully working system, reduce that cadence. So with everything taken into account as far as its ability to launch first time as it is right now in a test program, you can imagine what it's going to be like in the future when it do need to be launching every single day.
Absolutely. And to be fair, the Falcon 9 initially was known to be a scrub-heavy rocket. Remember that time?
It was.
The whole jokes about Scrub X, because Falcon 9 basically scrubbed every single time it tried to launch. It was a thing, and then they just made it work, and now it's regularly launching when it's 10% go.
I do wonder.
Has been a trend. But
yeah, I do wonder if some of it's like they already went through all those pains when they were testing a lot of the ground infrastructure with Booster 4 and Ship 20, and then later Booster 7 and Ship 24. Like they had multiple months of ground tests with both pairs of vehicles, right? Where I mean, that kind of thing, it probably gives you enough confidence in the hardware. And I know that, the launchpad systems especially have changed so much, not just the vehicles, but like Stage 0 itself has changed quite a bit since Flight 1, right? They no longer use the vertical tanks, for example. They use different ground systems in terms of the chill down and everything. They upgraded a bunch of those things for launches. But yeah, we have had only 2 scrubs. We do have had launches where we have had holds, right? I believe we're seeing now the Flight 8 attempt. I don't know if it's the first one or the second one, but it says there's Starship Flight 8 hold, so it was probably the first one. And yeah, Jake Egan saying it's the first one. But yeah, we had the first launch, Flight 8, and that's about it. We did not have any other scrubs, at least during the fueling. We did have on Flight 7, due to rain, an early scrub, but it was very early in the countdown.
Yeah, I can just quickly address something, by the way. People keep asking, what's the horse about? When I started NSF, which is basically a shuttle site, hello, I mentioned the shuttle. I did see that from Gareth Cole, 5 minutes in and no shuttle reference. It was all website and what have you. Then we'd started the channel. I was on camera on the channel in the early days, but then we got talented people and there was no need for me to be on camera, and that's why I'm not set up to be on camera. I'll pop in on microphone now and again, but no, it's about the team, it's not about me. So I don't need a big fancy camera and some fancy lights so you can see my face, which probably wouldn't be the best thing in the world anyway. But that is why the horse is there, because horse is my favorite animal for reasons more than, oh, they're very pretty animals. No, I've got a history with horses, so that's why the horse is on there. So that's covering that thing. But I want to bring shuttle up again because I remember the cadence of the space shuttle program when I was covering it. If we got one every 3 months, that was classed as a really high cadence. I know they got closer to a much higher cadence in the 80s, but look what happened there. Challenger happened. They pushed too hard. Go fever, they called it. And that's what it was. And that's the reason, one of the big reasons I had a disaster, because they pushed too hard. But during return to flight after Columbia was lost, it was every 3 months was pretty much the top end of what they could do on cadence side. So we're spoilt rotten by the launches we're seeing today with Falcon 9 and all other vehicles as well, compared to what it was during the shuttle program.
Chris, I have a question.
Oh, yes.
You just said something really interesting. I'm not even producing or anything today. I'm just hanging out in the background, kind of backseat producing. But you mentioned that they tried to speed up the cadence with shuttle, and then Challenger happened.
Yep.
Do you think some of the issues with Starship have to do with the fact that they're trying to increase cadence, trying to launch?
Oh, goodness me. That's a really good question, and one I've not really thought about in comparison to why the shuttle had issues with STS-51L. I'm going to say it's a different thing. It could be a reason. They could be pushing hard. Remember, they have a person at the top of SpaceX called Elon Musk, and he's known to push. He has his ambitious timelines. He's known to push. The team worked to that, as you'd imagine, and most of the time it pays off and is successful. But I don't think it's the same situation. The problem with Challenger was they were pushing so hard to have 12 flights in a year, and they did Teacher in Space, and they had literally a day where they should never have launched. But it was the president. What's the president address to the House thing called?
State of the Union
address.
State of the Union. That's it. They had the State of the Union on that night, and they desperately wanted President Reagan to do a speech about a teacher in space. I'm sorry, but that it's written in books. It's not my opinion. It's written in books. There was incredible go fever to launch that vehicle, even though the weather conditions said this is against our constraints. Do not launch in this weather, because it was freezing overnight in Florida. I don't think we're in that situation with Starship. It's not like they've launched in a situation they should never have launched. They're launching a test program where they're finding the issues without any risk as such. There's no people on board. It's. I would say it's a different situation, but I think it's a really good question.
Yeah, I'm rather glad that they are finding all of these issues uncrewed. That's always the advantage of such test program, that you get the advantage of testing all of this and feel safe about your vehicle before putting somebody on. It's an approach we have seen them perform with Dragon, and honestly, that worked quite well. I would say SpaceX SpaceX demonstrated they are able to develop a program over time into a crude program, which they executed very, very well there, although with some delays. But yeah, I think they can show similar things with Starship, which probably is an even more complex path. I think that's a good way to do it. Let me since you also just mentioned Elon Musk there, should we also mention the fact that we are still hoping for this technical presentation this week, Chris? Do you think that will still happen?
I hope so, because the last one was great. We're all thinking the last time we did a presentation, the preemption of it was, oh, this might be just Elon, throwing a few pictures out there and just talking in a kind of general sense, like he can do and he likes to do because he wants to try and make the general public aware of what Starship's capable of. But the last time round was quite a technical overview, but it was wide ranging. It was all the way through to Mars and the city on Mars. If he wants to do another version of that, a technical version, where he concentrates more on the near term of what Starship's looking to do with, say, V3, then that'd be fascinating. The issue with Elon is he can get quite distracted. Naturally, that's not a negative thing. He can get distracted by the fact that he's running all these different companies. And right now, if you follow him on X, he's obsessed with Grok. So, I'm hoping somebody, one of his assistants says, by the way, Elon, do you remember you were going to do a speech about Starship? And hopefully he'll be going to it. You'd expect him to be there. So it'd be an opportunity for him just to ad-lib it. I don't think he needs any kind of like script or anything like that. I think you can just put him in front of some video and some pictures and let him talk. That's very Elon. So I hope we get something like that.
Absolutely. That's I just want to have more. Like as you said, last presentation was a lot of Mars. Was very like the usual Imagine kind of presentation. I really want to know more technical details about Starship again. I want to get to know about life support. I want to get to know about power supply in space and stuff like that. Like all of these secondary systems that they will have to develop over time, which we have not really seen so much before, because they are primarily focusing on the launch vehicle itself right now. Alex, what's your take on the potentially upcoming, maybe upcoming Elon presentation?
I think we're gonna get probably the same thing that we got the last time. I remember saying that it was already like he originally mentioned that presentation from May. He said something on the lines of like, I'm gonna do a live presentation, blah blah, and then we did not get a live presentation. There was even a live stream schedule on X by SpaceX. In fact, you can even see it if you go to their highlights tab. It seems like they did not take down the tweet with the link to the live stream. It's still out there, but instead of doing that, he just recorded it, and then they put it out a few days after, sort of cutting away probably some of the things I said. It's always interesting to me because I have had instances where it's like you can see in the past two presentations before that there were two sort of employee talks in 2024 that he did, and you can notice where things are being cut around his speech. And there's obvious things that they don't want us to obviously get, because these are things that he's talking to the employees, right? He's just talking about this kind of stuff. And I feel like if we're gonna get a live thing, I hope we get at least some kind of Q&A. I don't care in which way, but it needs to have at least a Q&A where we can have a bit of feedback, where it's like, the last time that Elon did a presentation with a Q&A, yes, there were a lot of silly questions, but there were also really good ones. I remember Tim Dodd, for example, asked a few questions, and he answered them. Like, I wish that could be a thing that we could do, right? And that gets the feedback, because he says things, and then nobody can ask anything, and it's like, dang it, if I could, like, there's this slide, this little thing, this little detail, this little information. If you have people out there that can ask those questions, then we can get a little bit more clarification on some things. I really hope we get something like that at some point, but I'm not putting my hopes on this presentation being that kind of presentation.
Alex, are you talking about the one they did a launch site?
Yeah, with the full stack.
Who else asked a question at that one? It was Chris Gebhardt. Look what happened to him. He ended up being
Yeah,
hired by
he
SpaceX.
did. He did.
That's true. Like I miss these kind of presentations as well. Like I feel like we now for a bit just had these very scripted, very like no questions presentations. I would love to get like a proper like question answer presentation again. I feel
I
like we're
think-
missing that.
I think we're going to
Yeah.
get one though, Adrian, because the encouraging sign is, unless it's just a permanent display they've got there, that they've put 2 Raptors on display in a place that he might do a presentation at the. Is it the office block, Alex? I can't remember where Jack. The photo's out there on X. I'll try and find it for Jay. But there's definitely some kind of presentation set with 2 dragon chairs and what have you. Looks like it could be for a presentation.
My thoughts on that is that it's just for display in the building. We know that when they had the Stargate building, where they're building now the Gigabay, right? You remember when there was a Stargate building and a high bay and a mid bay? Things have changed quite a while. But they had already engines on display, and they had hardware and things like that. They had a Merlin 1C, they had an old Raptor 1. So here they have a Raptor 1, a Raptor 2, and they're probably going to put their Raptor 3 at some point. We've seen Dragon seats and things like that. I think it's just for display, just like they did with the Stargate building. It's just that, just like they always do all the time, when they started the high bay and the mega bay and all of the bays and everything, they always put things inside, like hardware, ships, boosters and whatnot, inside of those buildings before they even outfitted them. They're still outfitting the mega bay too, and they're building like another work cell and everything. The office building is no different, right? They put the engineers inside, they put everybody in there, and the chairs and tables and all of the computers and whatnot. Then later on, now it's when they're putting all of the displays and all of the fancy stuff. I think that's what's happening here. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see.
Before I go to the next segment, I want to point out it could be that this is permanent decoration, but they are doing this right now because they know they invite some guests, right? Like it's the thing of you buying some fancy new dishes, I don't know, glassware, because you know your parents coming over. It's not like you will never use that again. You just buy it though because you know they're coming over. Very specific example, but I feel like some people can relate. Anyway, we talked about the weather earlier. And I feel like at this point, it's time to ask a person that is way more qualified to talk about the weather than Alex, Chris, or me. So I'm going to throw it here to Adam to talk about the weather outlook for Starship's potential flight on Sunday.
Hi, Adrian. Yes. Basically, we're going to throw up a graphic that I think which graphic are we going to go to first? So this is going to be the graphic showing basically basically from today through the end of next week. So what we're looking at is Sunday's our main day for launch. And on Sunday, it is stating that we do have a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms. That's why Adrian was sitting there kind of questioning real quick about, is the weather good or not? So it does say mostly sunny with a high, being up there too, in the low 80s to 90 degrees, light and variable winds and stuff like that. So with that being said, the reason why we're looking at Sunday, showing that 50% chance of showers with the mostly sunny conditions, think of like kind of Florida in the afternoon with the launches, same concept. So we're going to have not really a big, strong storm system per se, but we're going to have a boundary kind of laid out in the area of very diffused weather environment. So it's going to be kind of similar to Florida, where as you get in the afternoons, we could actually have some showers and thunderstorms bubble up. So that is going to be something to watch because we're going to have to watch for obviously the lightning, thunder, any of the clouds. Obviously, if you get storms that start developing, you're going to get clouds. So for once, we're actually going to have to look at that, and that could make a change. Now, with that being said, we're still a little ways out. So this right here is showing in the afternoon around 4 p.m. I drew a red line down there to show you kind of where in the very south part of Texas there. And you see the little green kind of bubbling up. Now, this is much of a medium to long range model. So this is trying to give a guesstimation that we're still, nearly 96, 97 hours out from launch. And same with the computer models. We're a long way still out. from getting good data. So if you see here, it's showing kind of some sprinkles, here and there. That's actually showing like possibly pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Now, not everybody's going to see rain. We could be in clear the whole time there, but that's something we're going to have to watch. That's why we're kind of getting the 40 to 50% chance of rain in the area for the afternoon because of that. Now, if it comes a little earlier in the afternoon, I mean, they have prop load, all that other stuff that they have to consider, especially if there's lightning within range. So that's something we'll have to continue to watch. Now, if we go to the next slide, and you also got to think if you get a little thunderstorm that pops up, that could spill upper level clouds a little bit around you too. So, give or make some clouds trying to look in. So this is showing our clouds graphic. And as you see, the blue is representing clouds. And there's a lot of clouds in the area is what it's showing. But the reason why it's showing all that is it's also simulating, I think there's going to be showers in the area. So obviously there's going to be clouds associated with the shower. So it's going to show blue in that region. And this is at launch time. Now, that doesn't mean this is just dead set forecast. What this is telling us is there's a potential we could see showers and thunderstorms and some clouds, but we still have a couple days out to refine this forecast. It could change a lot between now and then. So don't just be like, oh, yeah, the weather's completely not looking good. If you can go to the next graphic. Because what will happen too is say if this day doesn't look well, say we do get the thunderstorm, say they do have to go into the next window. Well, then we're going to look at, right now we're looking at the graphic showing the upper level winds. So that is one thing that we really got to look at for like launching from the ground up aloft. So the upper level winds actually don't look too terrible at all. There is some directional changing winds. We have a graphic later to show y'all kind of explaining the directional changing winds. But basically the wind I've circled in yellow there, the wind barbs towards the bottom, they're kind of coming out of the southeast and then they move off to coming out of the northeast. So there is a change of wind as you go up, but they're weak changes of wind. There's not a lot of shear. So just looking at that, I'd say it's favorable for launch. Now, that's dependent on thunderstorms. If we get thunderstorms in the region at the time, that could cause a delay or it could even cause potentially scrub if they get enough showers and thunderstorms in the area around that potential launch time, prop load time. So, but the winds aloft don't look bad. So if we go to the next graphic here, basically, say if Monday just doesn't look good, Sunday. If Sunday doesn't look good and we go into Monday afternoon, conditions do improve. There is still a chance of showers and thunderstorms, but a lot of that, the models are showing it to lean to go away. As you see, it's white. So it means there's no clouds. The blue is the clouds there. So it's showing that in the morning we could have some stuff, but by the afternoon, the weather conditions should be, very sunny. The rain chances should preclude. And if we go to the next graphic, it's going to show the next following day. So say if we go from Monday and we have to, for some reason, go from Monday to Tuesday, same thing. The conditions are still fine. So all it really is on Monday is we just need to fine tune. Are we going to get those thunderstorms that bubble up in the afternoon? That's the main thing we're looking for because it's just like Florida. It's hard to predict. Those are those afternoon ones that kind of bubble up on you and it's hit or miss. So as we get a little bit closer, we'll see. Does the chances kind of increase? Do they decrease? So I would say we still have favorable chances for a launch, but we really have to pay attention of the showers and thunderstorms possibility for the afternoon. But the wind conditions still aloft look good for even as we go in. If we have to go into Monday or Tuesday for a launch, they still look fine there. And then we're now showing a pretty cool graphic here. So you're seeing the altitude and speed. So look at the wind. So this is what we call directional wind. So this way, this kind of makes a little bit more sense. So if you notice, those wind barbs are moving around there. It's showing the winds kind of changing. So like right now, it's showing them coming out of the northeast and it's coming at 5, 10 knots. And as you go up with altitude, like right now, it's showing 6, 7. So as you climb, you see the wind barbs going one direction and then they kind of shift around to another direction. That's why we call it directional shear, meaning the winds are changing as you increase with height. But also, if you notice, the speeds are really low, 5 knots, 6 knots, 7 knots. So the wind itself, there's not a lot of strong wind with changes. That's what you don't want. And obviously, this looks well within margin for them. So I really wouldn't be too skeptical of going, that looks really bad. This looks really bad. I think it's going to be like one of those Florida kind of days. Pop-up showers and thunderstorms. We got to watch for those in the afternoon. those could make a damper on the plans. If so, at least the next 2 days do look promising. But I still feel like let's watch the next few days. And even the next graphic that we'll be going to is pretty nice. So we keep showing you graphics that you probably don't really understand. This next one's really nice too. We keep talking about like the green line versus the red line, the temperature and dew point. The green line is the dew point, red line's temperature, and what it's showing is the green's like the surface, and then as you go aloft, well, as you see that green and red line get really close to each other, that means you have, if they're right on top of each other, that means you have 100% relative humidity, which means you can easily basically condense a cloud at that point. And so the more red and green you see, especially from the surface all the way up, the closer and closer together means there's a chance that the air is very saturated. And if you have anything that can come buoyant, it can produce a cloud very easy. So a lot of times, and that's what we're kind of seeing for that forecast that day, is the red and green lines are a little bit close on Sunday, and that could spill the chance for showers and thunderstorms because your air is very saturated. So yeah, hopefully that was a good educational lesson too at the same time, because I know we kind of throw the graphics at y'all and y'all are probably like, I don't know what I'm looking at, but this is kind of what we're showing you, so that way you can kind of gauge whenever I'm speaking about certain things that we're looking at, because we're talking about not weather where you're at the surface. We are having to talk about that, but this thing's got to go very high aloft, so we got to think about the weather all the way aloft because it changes dramatically as you go up higher. So, but yeah, great graphics.
Absolutely. Great presentation as well here, Adam. That is very helpful to understand your situation. Let me ask you one question here. In comparison to previous Starship launches that you have observed and we have monitored the weather, does this rank up more in the worst kind of days, or is it what's your general vibe feeling about this, or is this did they launch in worse weather?
Oh, they've definitely launched in way worse conditions. Mainly winds aloft. I've seen some that I was scratching my head going, that's pushing it. And that's why they launch a lot of weather balloons to get that data right down to the last hour. They'll be launching a balloon, making sure that not even just looking at a forecast, because a forecast is a guesstimation, not an accurate data set. So when you launch that weather balloon, you get that full data set. So wind wise aloft, I think it looks very favorable. Now the storm wise, it's questionable. It's kind of like Florida where you get those pop-up ones in the afternoon. We got to watch for that, but I don't think I'm still safe to say that I think I'll be traveling down there. If that makes anybody feel a little more comfortable, I think I'll do it, because something about Starbase, that little tip of Texas, I've kind of noticed it does seem to have a weird phenomenon where it seems to clear up just in time there. And it's done it multiple times to us where it's like, well, here's the launch window, and all of a sudden the clouds just go away. So
it also, Anna, I don't know if you feel like this might have also happened, where it's it feels to me at least that Starbase, it's not like Florida in the sense that Florida, it's well, it might rain or it might not rain. Starbase is it's gonna rain, it's raining, right? Or if it does, if the forecast says, low chances of rain, it's most likely not going to rain. It seems to me, at the very least, that the weather is less explosive, if you will. It's not that much changing in the forecast. If you got a few days of data here ahead of time, you might have a good track. Am I going in the right direction here? It feels Florida is a lot more changing in that sense.
Florida is, especially with a peninsula that's going out into the ocean, you have a body of water all the way surrounding around you. So yeah, it makes the environment a little more, I wouldn't say unpredictable, but it does kind of make it a little more unpredictable for that region versus Texas. I mean, we do got a lot of, the Gulf that surrounds that region. And so it is a little bit easier to forecast, but also when you have winds coming off the ocean, it happens to create boundaries from the heating air mass of the land and all that. So you can always get these little boundaries that set up that are inland a little bit, and they can percolate up some showers and thunderstorms too during the afternoon. So that's typical coast weather. So, but yeah, I think as we get over the next, especially when we get down the next, say 3 days, it makes it a little bit easier to fine tune the forecast. But I wouldn't scrub your plans just yet. I think we're still okay for that day, because it's going to be one of those where we'll have to look as we get a little bit closer.
Yeah, I was thinking, especially, I remember Flight 7. We were talking about, will there be any clouds, any rain or anything. And then it started to get cloudy, and then we got rain, and then it scrubbed for the day right as we were doing, the stakeout stream, well before they even went into launchpad closed and things like that. And yeah, that was one of those days that it was, the forecast was rain, and it rained, and it was not, let's cross our fingers and hope for a clear. Like it rained, and then the next day was super clear. It was amazing weather. So yeah, thank you, Adam. That's really nice and very good to hear.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, and we'll make sure to potentially check with you again as we get closer to this launch window to get maybe an updated forecast with a bit more, closer data to the launch date. Thank you so much, Adam.
No problem. Bit more accuracy once we get a little bit closer.
Absolutely. That's how it always goes with the weather. Let me thank some people here because we are receiving generous support here. I want to make sure that I'm not falling behind because the panel is screaming at me and makes it red, and that's always a bad sign. Starting with Elizabeth Hubner, gifting 10 Red Team memberships. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. As always, very regular in chat, very regular does this. So thank you so much for all that support. Another very common name we hear here from time to time is Telstar86 gifting a Red Team membership. Thank you so much for that. Marcia Whitehead becoming a Pad Red member. That this week might get you some very cool pictures over time, and we'll talk about a very cool picture coming up potentially very soon here. Then we have Juan with the question, who let the horse out? Apparently Chris Bergen. And then we have another horse-related super chat here with Stefan Dex saying, Chris mentioning horses was the reason I started following NSF for my spaceflight fix. Thanks,
Wow.
Chris.
Well, there we go. You see, it's actually, I'm not even joking. It's a huge community of people who follow horses. It sounds weird, I know, to people who don't follow horses, but there's different branches, such as people who own horses, people who go horse racing, horse competitives. There's horse dynamics, herd dynamics, which is a big thing in universities, would you believe? So yeah, there's quite a big community out there.
Absolutely, and apparently another person here that loves us because you love horses, Chris.
Excellent.
Bite for it with a $25 super chat saying, thank you, Adrian, Alex, Chris, for this evening's countdown. I'm now hoping for Monday launch if Saturday doesn't pan out. I just want Elon to speak to us also we could get clarifications. I agree. That would be great. I have a lot of questions I would like to ask. Then we have Daniel Hopkin gifting 5 Red Team memberships. Thank you so much. And then we have Just Tobias upgrading to Red Team. Thank you. Jeff Rowe becoming a Red Team member as well. The Space Pope, gifting 5 Red Team memberships. And then Crafty Geek with the $10 super chat saying, at 4 kilometers, wind speed dropped to 0 knots as the direction was shifting. I presume means negligible shear. Is that kind of slowdown before shift rare, normal, or common? I'll direct this over to Adam maybe for the next time he's there, and then we'll get that answered. Thank you so much for all of that support. And with that, I think we have something Jay wants to show here.
He wants to dust off.
I thought so. Live captured by Jack a few minutes ago. We have to talk about this, Alex. This is the booster QD for Block 3.
One of them, at the very least. So for those that don't know, the next generation of boosters, Block 3 boosters, will have 2 booster quick disconnect umbilicals. And I believe this one is for the methane, if I'm not mistaken, based on some conversations that were had in the background. So yeah, this is the one that will be, so the big circle there in the middle will be delivering the liquid methane to boosters. But technically, this one is not going to deliver any liquid methane. Should correct myself on that. It is the quick disconnect that on the booster, it will connect to where the liquid methane will be loaded. But this is at the Massey test site at the new cryo station. I guess it's the old cryo station, but it is being upgraded to test Block 3 boosters. And so this one in particular will not be carrying actually the methane. It will be only carrying liquid nitrogen because they are at the Massey test site. they don't use they don't use methane for cryo testing. They don't only use oxygen and nitrogen for that. But yeah, I mean, it's at least the methane side, I guess, of the quick disconnects. The other one will be carrying mainly the oxygen there. So really cool. This was captured by Jack, by the way. This was taken earlier today. And also,
Yeah.
I've been told to thank the ranch, Anthony and Rocket Ranch, for the boat ride.
Yeah, so apparently this was captured from a boat, and Jack got a ride by a Rocket Ranch and from Anthony from the Rocket Ranch. So thank you so much from to the folks from the Rocket Ranch there. As always, a prime location to watch these Starship launches, because you can like buy tickets there, go there, watch the launch from there, and also it's a amazing, amazing audience there to celebrate with together. So thanks to the folks over there. And there we go. Amazing capture here from Jack. And that is quite a nice piece of hardware that I'm sure a certain writer that might write about SBU at some point in the near future will write about, Alex.
Yeah, we'll have lots of different videos, I guess. It's not just going to be one, it's probably going to be multiple different videos, because there's probably going to be one just about the vehicles themselves. There's probably going to be one about the pad. There's so many things to talk about on the new vehicles. I really wish part of the Elon presentation were about that. That was one of the things that I sort of forgot about to mention earlier, which was, you know, when he did his presentation, it was sort of glossed over. Oh, now we have 3 grid fins. Like, he didn't even mention the grid fins, and they were out there, and there were 3, and it's a T-shape. And it took until a couple of weeks ago when SpaceX actually tweeted about that to know what were the reasons. Up until then, we were just guessing, right? And so, yeah, I would love to get more details about this. Like, why do you have 2 quick disconnects? I can imagine, I can make my own guess about that, but I really want to get it from the person itself that is at the helm of this company, or at least somebody that knows about it at the very least.
Yeah, there's very, very many smart communities that watch Starbase. Not only NSF, there's plenty others that pay a lot of attention to us, and we all think we know because we all like observe it, we try to understand it, but sometimes it's great to actually get the engineer that designed it to talk about it, and it's like, yes, this is why we do this. And that's always a nice confirmation if you observe a program like we all do. So yeah, I agree with Alex. Alex,
What?
I think there's all what?
Who made that goal in chat? Somebody made a goal called Alex will answer chat's questions for 10 extra minutes. Why?
We can do that. I think I think we should do that. I will. Yeah, I mean that's a good goal. Alex, I actually have another point here. We just got a few hours ago, I think, release of a road closure, correct?
Yeah, so earlier today, so on top of all the NOTAM really confusion there, we got a road closure. There you go. This is the Cameron County website, and there you can see already a road closure for August 24th from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. There we go. So yeah, that's the road closure and beach closure as well. You can see both are there. Boca Chica Beach will be closed. And so we have already that in place as well. Also the alternative ones, of course, on the 25th and 26th, just in case they don't launch on Sunday. They have a few more attempts there on Monday and Tuesday. But yeah, you know, that's great. And it also says on the document, it says spaceflight activities and everything, just as usual. So that's good. Now we just need the vehicles on the pad. Do we have anything related to that?
Sorry, I kind of broke down because Anthony in chat said 10 minutes, that's only enough time for one question. I mean, good one. Sorry, that was a really good one.
Ryan, don't you have a video to edit? I'm seeing him in chat, and it's like, huh. See, I can talk back.
I'm getting actually super chats here for more questions. We are getting Mike Smith here with $10 super chat saying talk. And then we have Kelly one with super chat saying go Alex go. So yeah, let's start with some of these questions I'm getting here, Alex. as these super chats arrive here. Oh god, there's more. Sorry, the crew. Let's reach the goal with a super chat. Thank you so much. Six strings simpleton. I'm sorry, simpleton. Sorry. With super chat saying, since the V3 booster catch points will be on the grid fins, could they actuate the grid fins to cancel out sway?
Perhaps. I don't know how that will work. I have no idea. I'm not making a 10-minute answer out of this, but there you can see the shape sort of of that lift point. I guess, yeah. I have no idea. To be fair, like this is one of those things that I will need to actually see installed on the booster before any of that, but we'll see.
If you imagine them, like if you imagine the
I
patch
see you
points,
doing the thing.
Yeah, sorry.
With your
go to my camera here. So
there we go.
So imagine this is of course not to scale, but imagine these are the grid fins. The upper hands are the grid fins, and then these
your
are the
hand
catch
is the
pins,
grid
right?
fin.
Yeah, my hand is the grid fin, but my thumbs are the catch
like
pins.
Elon.
So if they're on the same axis and they are like slightly rotate, you can imagine how the grid fins can rotate, and with that you can adjust the catch pins as well a bit if they are not fully like if they, for example, are swaying. Like you could do that if this is how they attach them to the axis. I'm not sure if they will do that. This is a very rough demonstration based on using my hands. It's what I got. So anyway,
I also
go ahead.
I also wonder how much sway do they have, like, because you're resting the 200 and something tons of mass of that thing on those little knobs. You were doing the whole thing, right? And it's like the lifting points, and like if you try to swing at the like, you're probably gonna scratch the landing rail or something, right? I don't know. I have no idea. It's weird because it's a lot of weight on those arms, and now you're trying to move the grid fins. No idea.
I see more questions here arriving, Alex. I will just throw them at you. Why a notice for French Guiana?
Oh, well, I have no idea, but it's probably because the debris could go that far away. It's technically not like really close to French Guiana. It's a bit of distance away. But yeah, it's there. Risk of elements fallout during launch of Starship Flight 10. So there you go. So yeah, a bit of more restrictions, I guess, on the airspace, but I have no idea.
We have Austin Skirvin here with a $5 tip saying, how many squirrels can be launched in a Starship? I hope they launch on Sunday. There, I got it. I the other day practiced saying squirrel like 10 minutes in front of a mirror. Thank you so much for that support. I don't know how many squirrels can be launched by Starship, but I'm sure Kevin is asking ChatGPT as we speak. Jeff Rowe gifting a Red Team membership. Thank you so much for that. Gunfox with a super chat saying Alex got to give a pun as well. Maybe bonus 20 minutes. Okay, we are now demanding. I'm not sure. Like puns out of like just asking for them. It's always hard. Like you need to.
Yeah,
it
needs to be something that comes out of my heart. It doesn't need to be something that you force on me. Let me be punny when I want to. I'm joking.
Yeah. Amy Harrell with a super chat saying, here we go. Rocket Scientist 1 with a super chat saying, does the booster flex when grid fins move and booster heats up like SR-71 does in flight? So I want to take part of this. We know the booster moves a lot during cryo, right? Like when they load it, it adjusts quite a lot.
Yeah, it shrinks during loading. It also shrinks because it's got the ship on top, pushing it down. That also like a lot of people. There was early on in the program. I remember a lot of people talking about it in chat. How much does it shrink because of how cold it is? And I'm like, it also shrinks because it's got a 1,200 ton ship on top, which is pressing on it as well. But yeah, you've got that, and then when it flies, all of that is drained, so it heats up, and then it also comes back through the atmosphere, so you've got heating on the walls and everything on that steel. So yeah, that's the whole reason why these things are hard too. These tiles, all of these little gaps in between the tiles, those are very hard to get right, because this thing on the other side the whole thing will be cooling down and everything, and then when it heats up during the re-entry, it stretches, and so you've got all of these changes, and these gaps will just get bigger or smaller depending on the point of flight. So it's really, really hard to get this right.
Yeah, we certainly would not want to cook the 2 million squirrels that will fit inside a Starship cargo
Did you
bay.
really ask for that?
I want to see Kevin's ChatGPT prompt list.
Well, I mean, ChatGPT definitely gets my sense of humor because, first of all, it thought for 14 seconds, and then it said short answer, somewhere between a hilarious number and still too many.
I mean, 2 million squirrels is like that. That's a lot.
It also says 2 million squirrels is physically packable, ethically nightmarishly impossible.
Ethically nightmarishly impossible is great.
But if you want them to have spacious enclosures, it would probably be about 500.
That's. I mean. I feel like there's more. Like how much space does a squirrel really need? I'm not going down this rabbit hole. Oh, God,
well, the spacious enclosure is about 2 meters cubed.
I can't believe.
I think if you press the squirrel very, very. Anyways, I'm not gonna go down that road.
Right, you could have 2 million squirrels, and they can't move.
Yeah, and it will be soup of squirrel as well.
Yeah, especially if they're cooked, if the tiles aren't very good.
Yeah, based on, let's say, not super public and shouldn't be leaked, but still public footage of the payload bay door during re-entry, I'm not sure if something should be in that payload bay at this point that lives. It really doesn't look safe.
Jack's actually asking if the squirrels have to be alive.
We are back to ethical.
Ah, right,
yeah.
right.
It's what I said. Like, do you want the squirrels in one very neatly shape, or do you want squirrel soup?
We are not making What are we discussing here?
I don't even know. I'm gonna
I don't know. We went
back.
from Starship to squirrels inside Starship's nose cone. It's like, why?
I mean, whatever for the Membies. Bye.
Vebian
we are
Hallis
in a
is asking
stream.
in a
It's not
Vebian
mini stream.
Hallis is asking in a super chat when do you think the ship will be catched? Flight number.
Let's go back in track.
Yeah, like serious topic.
Yeah, I think it's probably gonna be flight 13 or something, the second flight of Block 3. It's my guess. That's my guess. Yeah.
I agree. Second block of flight, like Block 3. Yeah, like that would be. What are you laughing about?
It's Chad. Chad is making me laugh. That's why. Because they mentioned something along the lines of like packing it like a neutron star.
Jesus. Yeah, how much mass do you get inside of Starship if you pack it like a neutron star?
Yeah, a lot.
A lot. The answer is a lot. I agree. Like that would be flight 13. Flight 13 for first catch. Yeah, I can see that.
13. So we are in agreement then that it's gonna be the second flight of Block 3. There's no bell or anything here.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay. Do you think they will try to do Ship 38 though?
Sorry, I'm just distracted by that. We are actually showing this here on air. This is. Thanks, ChatGPT. That's what like AI is made for to answer the big questions of life.
Ethically, nightmarishly impossible.
It's really Kevin's humor. Is Kevin an LLM? We'll never find out.
I don't know.
Yeah, true. It even has the emojis. That's interesting. We'll have to dig if Kevin is potentially a language, like a ChatGPT like model. Anyway, another question I have here which I kind of want to answer. Constance is wondering how many Starship launches until FAA changes the license to allow booster reusability via catch with the chopstick systems. And here I come in and tell you the reason this is right now not in the FAA license is not the FAA. That's because SpaceX didn't request it, because we know in the past it was in the license and there was no problem. SpaceX just, for these launches, has not requested to land, because we know they want to perform all of these envelope expansion maneuvers, so they don't need the license to be for catches. But based on everything we know, the FAA is not restricting them to catch. That's SpaceX just deciding we don't want to do that right now. So the answer is right now. They can always catch with the chopstick system or the booster if they choose to. They just don't choose to do it right now.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, it seems like a lot of people got the impression wrong that apparently they did not catch booster 14 on the last flight because the FAA didn't allow that. There were even people convinced that it was a thing that the FAA did not allow SpaceX to do because it's very risky and whatnot. Like, catching the booster after it's been reused, it should be just as good as when it's new, right? It's got multiple different abort modes. There's a go no go poll and everything. There's many different things that they do to ensure that it's good to be back to the launch site. Yes, booster 14 exploded, but you know why? Because it got through a really experimental re-entry and landing burn, right? And that was the whole deal. That was the whole reason why it was not caught. Because SpaceX knew that it was a very ambitious thing for the booster to try, and they did not want to bring it back to the launch site to have it explode over the launch site. And so if you're trying out risky things, you don't do that over your launch hardware, right? And so that's what happened on Flight 9. Flight 10, it's using a new booster, it's not flight proven, and it's still not going to be caught. And the whole reason for that is because they're just getting rid of these boosters. And the best way to get rid of them is to do all of this testing, right? They did that with Falcon 9. I know I'm always, super tiring of comparing it to Falcon 9, but it's done before. They've expended many used boosters on the Falcon 9 rockets because they just wanted to get rid of them. They were early boosters that they were not, the latest Block 5 configuration and things like that. And so they were just all hardware. They can just get rid of it and do tests. And they did that multiple times during the Falcon 9 program. So it's no surprise to see the same on Starship. And I really hope, they get every little chance that they can to be able to gather more data on the booster, because Booster 3 is going to be a huge change, and I really hope that this time around, because they're changing from block to block 3 and everything, at least for the booster, it's not going to be as bad as the block 1 to block 2 transition for the ship. It was not great, but yeah. There's your 10-minute answer. I hope Chad is happy.
I still have more questions. Telstar86 is wondering if there are new issues with escaping gases in the payload bay Flight 10. Do you think we will finally see a deployment of dumplings? I will go first here and say, if A, they are stable and have attitude control for this time, and B, the door is opening, then yes.
Yeah. No more diffuser nonsense. That's for sure. We don't want that to happen.
Red Queen GTA is saying it goes in the squirrel hole in the super chat. Thank you so much for that. Blood Wolf with super chat saying guesses on first flight from LC-39A. I say mid to late 2026.
We need to be in disagreement. We cannot be agreeing on everything, Adrian.
Are you like? I know you can make something up to disagree, but you agree with that, right?
Exactly. Like, I could be here in sort of being against everybody and everyone, but no, I agree. It's probably gonna be middle to late next year. It seems like it's got a few more weeks, months to get that pad ready. It feels like it's about 5 to 6 months behind Pad B or Pad 2 at Starbase, I guess. So beginning of the year in 2026, we're probably going to see 39A sort of the way that we saw Pad 2 a couple of months ago. I would expect things like the launch mount, for example, to be rolled out in the next couple of months. It's very much well underway in the construction. The flame trench, they are just now like they finished the pouring of concrete on the floor. They still need a little bit of the ramps. They still need to put the flame trench walls and everything. They've got a lot of hardware that they need to put in there, including the bucket, before that even the frames and everything as well to hold the bucket. Then they have to put the legs for the launch mount. The launch mount goes in. They need to put all the hardware. There's the service structure as well. There's so many things that they need to do. I think it's gonna be a while. It's gonna be at least a year just for it to be active, and a little bit more to get it for flight. But we'll see. We'll see.
Absolutely. Next question and next super chat here is from Less Than Ideal, asking, ask ChatGPT how many living but not comfy squirrels Starship HLS can land on the moon. First off, I
Not
want to point
comfy.
out that ChatGPT is free to use. You didn't have to do this in the super chat, but anyway, here's the answer. Apparently, I will
There you
read
go.
this. Short, semi-serious answer on the order of tens of thousands. What? Here's a defensible range using a mass of at the limiter. Volume won't bind. Watch HLS current.
I'm
12 to 50 metric tons. Yada squirrel mass. In eastern gray squirrel averages about half a kilogram. Back to the envelope. About 20,000, 27,000. If you allocate at modest 20% of payload to minimal enclosure and consumables, that's 17,000 squirrels. Well, there you have it. That's your answer. Great, right? Tens of thousands of squirrels to the moon.
I find it funny because for this kind of thing, I'm old school, so I don't use ChatGPT or anything. I will probably have to Google like the size of a squirrel and try to model what's the volume and everything. I always have fun though when I have a little off topic thing here because we're doing the squirrel thing. I had the other day my thought because we had on Space Coast Live, by the way, on FleetCam, we had the Star of the Seas, this big cruise ship going through Port Canaveral, and I just looked at it on our cameras and was like, this is such a huge thing. How can we put this on the ocean? It's like it's such a big thing. And then I thought, well, we put this thing in space, so I guess you know, there are also big things going into space. And then I thought, what if we made a rocket that was the size of that cruise ship? And so I started doing all of the calculations and everything. Bottom line, it's a really big rocket. But yeah, probably unrelated to all of these conversations, I guess.
Yep. But I get it. Sorry, the back channel is really distracting on this.
Yeah.
You're not helping everybody.
They're doing it on purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. We are already 15 minutes over, but I have more questions here. Alexander Sterling here asking, hey Chris, get my email. Want a doctor to write on spaceflight health for free? Also, was BHSAI before doctor. Didn't know you were also a writer. I will make sure to advance this to Chris. I'm not sure if he's long around to make sure he sees this and sees that you have sent an email. Thank you so much for that support as well. Or on Quake with Super Chat saying, I believe we should commit to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing 2 million squirrels on Mars and returning them safely to Earth. How do you return them? Like, once you really... I also, as Jack has now joined the back channel, which I can spoil for everybody, is not really helping with the overall, how to say this, rails of the channel. I think that's the right word.
Further off the rails.
Go ahead, Kevin.
He's asking me about the
I'm
about
giving
the cruise
up.
rocket.
I'm not a host anymore. I'm mere passenger of this train.
I realized whether we have 500 or 2 million squirrels on the lunar surface, we would need to feed them. So I asked ChatGPT.
You need tiny suits for the squirrels as well.
We'd need suits as well. Yeah. So I asked ChatGPT how many nuts we would have to bring to the moon to feed 20.
You need a tanker ship for that.
Exactly, to feed 17
to
27,000 squirrels, not comfy squirrels. You would need 500,000 to 0.9 million nuts per day. That's a lot of nuts.
So you need to have supply flights to the
nuts.
moon. Like you have to there's the main starship, the squirrel starship, and then there's the nut starship that joins them and like resupplies, like it's a commercial resupply mission just with nuts to the moon.
For the squirrels, yeah. You need
For the squirrels.
4.1 to 6.5 metric tons per week of almonds if you used almonds to feed the squirrels.
That's a lot of nuts.
It
That's
is.
nuts.
It's nuts.
It's nuts, yeah. You know what's nuts? That we're gonna see a launch in 4 days? What is it? Yeah, 4 days. Jeez.
We now have people in the super chat here, including Alexander Sterling, saying, "Jack, derail it, you bacon king."
He could have
there's
been
no-
on this countdown to launch, but he didn't join because he's on the field.
He's like doing camera work before Starship Flight. How does he dare? We will get some snarky comments about this in the back channel in about 5 seconds. So yeah, I'm through now with the questions. What's the plan here? I'm so disconnected from the management of the show at this point that I'm just asking the back channel here. What are we doing next? Kevin, what are we doing next?
Well, the problem is Jay just lost power, and he's operating the show.
I think you just got promoted to producer, Kevin.
Oh my god. So just to that's why we are on cameras for now, like 3 minutes. Like
exactly. That's why we're still here.
I now understand why we didn't change to cameras anymore. Why is this? What's happening? So we are stuck.
Yeah,
I wonder if the squirrels heard that we were sending them to the lunar surface, so they ate Jay's power, so we had to stop talking about this.
So at this point, this show is no longer able to steer cameras because we don't have a producer anymore.
Or change them, yeah.
Yeah, we are just stuck in the scene. I don't. Jay's saying he's back.
Jay's saying he's back.
Nice.
Let's give him a bit of a time here.
Rocket Scientist 1 is asking, one more, couldn't they just eat the cheese? Good point. The moon is made out of cheese.
True.
True. Scientific fact. Alexander Sterling, another question. How many sheep could it fit? No.
Oh.
Ryan is asking Jay in the back channel how hard it was to get the water mill spinning again. Hey, Jay's back. We can change scenes again.
That was a weird transition, by the way, Jay. What's this? What's this transition?
That's almost as weird as cube zoom.
Yeah.
Cross zoom.
Cross zoom.
What's
I don't see any crosses. There we go. Okay, well, we have a road closure for tonight. You can see actually here, hang on. There. That way, your booster will be delivered between 12 a.m. and 4 a.m. That is the road closure for tonight's roll of Booster 16. It's too late, so Adrian?
Yeah, I will point out there's a very good chance that NSF will not do a full dedicated stream for this because it's a Starship week, everybody. We all need to sleep at some point. But we will, of course, cover it on Starbase Live. We'll see it there. We will not miss it. Tomorrow is another countdown to launch, which we'll show you, and then we will talk about it. So it's
ironic. It's ironic because of the whole deal with the launch happening. I, for example, have shifted my sleep schedule. I had been trying for a long while, for like 2 months, to have a normal sleep schedule. So I've been waking up at like 8 a.m., Central European time, not Central Standard Time or anything like that in American time zones. So I've been trying to wake up at 8 a.m., but now the launch is going to happen at 1:30 a.m. my time. So I've been shifting my sleep schedule. Now this roll is going to happen at 7 a.m. my time, which means it's like right when I should be going to sleep because I'm shifting my sleep schedule to adapt to this launch. So the irony would be that if we didn't have any launches, but we still wanted to stream, for example, I will be available for this, but even I am not available because I'm going to sleep tonight. So I'm gonna miss the role, unfortunately. But you have it on Starbase Live.
There's an AI generated picture in the back channel of sheeps on the moon.
Oh, jeez.
Because that was a question, and you could fit about 1,333 sheep semi-comfortably in livestock transport mode on a Starship.
I mean, I just believe you. I mean, did we ever cross-check these numbers? Should we cross-check these numbers?
I mean, I could do the math, but that would be wasting time.
Because I once asked ChatGPT to count to 10 and it skipped 8. So I'm not sure if this is like the, oh my god, there's squirrels being posted that are living on the moon in the rocks. I mean, what are we doing here? The crew is saying in the super chat, you guys are the best comedy at 1:21 a.m. Same time zone as Alex and me. Telstar86, on the theme of animals, how many horses could go? Chris B will tell you that horses need proper transport, otherwise it would be very, very much animal cruelty. So let's make sure we ask this question ethically.
I guess you could say that horses need a stable transportation.
There's the pun. Need Pizza also in the back channel saying, has someone considered the life support system required? There's so much. We should do a whole Squirrels on the Moon show at this point. Like, I feel like we are going down this rabbit hole. We might as well.
I also need to finish my coffee.
Yeah, I had a Powerade, Gatorade kind of thing.
100.
So yeah.
Ethically.
100 ethically. Good. So that means...
There we go.
That means kind of like... Even then, I feel like 100 ethically is very, very tight in the Starship payload bay door. I mean, might be me.
Unless you want to fly them sort of, you know, when these regional buses that are like 4 or 5 hours and you're like cramped with somebody next to you and you're like, totally not happened to me at any time in the past. Not at all.
This question will 100% spark screaming in chat, so I will just read it out. Alexander Sterling with a super chat asking, how many of Jack's ancient Land Rovers could fit? That's
One.
fighting words.
1 and half broken. So just like the current one.
Yeah.
Hey guys. Starship is
Yes.
launching on Sunday.
Yes.
Yes.
So
That's
it's
cool.
launching on Sunday.
There will be no horses or squirrels in Starship, though.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, poor horses and squirrels.
I'm so sorry, my brain is not braining anymore at this point in the show. I'm like...
There's gonna be a Chris Bergen, I think, at least for the stakeout stream. You're showing here the horse. Well, not you, but Jace is showing.
Did you show that by intention, or did you forget to replace that camera?
That was intentional.
Okay, cool. I am now seeing in the back channel a picture of horses on the moon. There is so much happening here, everybody. Bloodwolf asking, do you guys sell koozies? These are like the wrappers around thermo cups and everything, right? Like, so far not. Might be a good idea for Christmas. But thank you so much for that support. Rocket Scientist
you can get a
saying,
jacket or shirt or something. Yeah. But also
point.
Anyways, I'm already giving you ideas for that.
Rocket Scientist saying, I'm in for a Squirrel on the Moon episode. We might do that at some point if we really don't have anything else to do. I also see some people asking if we would do a patch again. Yes.
Yeah,
As
of
soon as they're
course.
full. Yeah, there's a patch. There's a patch. There will be a patch of Flight 10.
Tell SpaceX to hurry up, and then we'll release the patch. There we go. It's not our thing. It's SpaceX's fault.
I have been very unsuccessful over the last, I would say, 5 minutes to clear the support queue here.
It's still coming. Like they're breaking everything.
Like I'm just constantly trying to catch up here. Red Queen GTA with another super chat. Thank you so much. Crafty Geek with a $10 super chat saying, with NSF's recent stream about spacesuits, now I'm just picturing how insanely tough it would be to get a horse into a lunar spacesuit, regardless of the extra design challenges for a quadruped.
It'd be even harder to get a horse to train on the MBL on the neutral buoyancy lab because it's not stable.
You cannot make the same joke. It's not getting better.
I can, and I will.
At some point, I will clear this queue and then I will start an outro. That's my big plan here. But yes, we will have a Flight 10 patch and it will be released at full stack. It's very, very amazing. You will all. I'm guaranteeing you will love it. You will love it. You 100%.
I mean,
you will freak
hang
out.
on.
Don't show it.
No. But I have all of the flight patches. Hang on. Give me a second. I'm getting them. Woo. There's too many things here. Okay, so I've got Flight 1. Let's see. Flight 2. You can see there's always a theme with these, like showing the first flight, bit of a view there. Then there's a coast phase. There's always something on our patches. And so I wonder if people are going to be able to guess what our next patch will feature. This is the re-entry on Flight 4. Then the catch on Flight 5. That was really neat. Also, some of the green screen showing there. Then we got, this was the big fumble on our part. Because we put the catch with Starhopper. And then it did not happen on Flight 6. Unfortunately, this is the Flight 6 patch. It's still in the shop, I think. This was part of the patches that Max and not Max, excuse me, Dan and Jack got. See, Jack and Max look very alike with the bold and everything. And then you've got Flight 7. There we go. This is green entirely, so green screen effect. And then you've got Flight 8 with a payload door and everything. We were very unsuccessful, I guess, guessing that one. But maybe we'll see this Sunday. And then finally, of course, this one. We did not fail this one. This one, Flight 2 of Booster 14. So we got that one right. I really hope we get also right things. I'm not gonna say.
Yeah, and Flight 10 is.
Yes. Oh my! Are you just jump scaring me that you're leaking? Is this a game?
He's just making the joke. He's just making the joke.
Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
I want to know from chat. A, what do you think is the primary color of Flight 10's patch? And B, what do you think is on it? Tell me. I want to see if somebody gets it. If I will not tell you if that person gets it, but I just want to see if somebody gets it. I'm sorry. At this point, we are in for the show. Yeah, I mean, I will stop when I stop. I mean, let's see if somebody gets it.
People were asking me to leak it. Look, I wish I could leak it. Like, I wish I had the patch right now. Unfortunately, it's still, doing patch things, I guess. We'll release it as pre-order, right, Adrian? Once it's out.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, exactly. So I could not get it right now. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to have it.
I'm just reading here. Oh, there's some very.
One of the things that I've requested is to not make it green because of the green screen thing. I mean, this from the Flight 7. There we go. Here, there. See, it's all there. It's green, but it just
There's some very interesting gases in there. I'm gonna say
and
that.
no, I don't have any bold spot. It's the freaking lamp thing. Trust me. We really.
I will tell you that the patch design was. I will not tell you this. Actually, I will not. I will talk about this when we have the full stack. I will not give you. I'm already getting debated to
They're
tell too
teasing
much.
us
So.
already.
Yep. Alex Sterling here. Real question: what do you know about the active cool tile, Alex? What do we know about that active cool tile?
Ooh, well, that one. We really don't have much detail about it. I don't even know in terms of like what is the cooling liquid. I feel like I think it was Tim Dodd before Flight 9 that he had a little chat with Elon about it. And see, this is why I want like a proper technical Q&A sort of thing where multiple people can ask Elon about this kind of stuff. He did not reveal, I think, the exact fluid that they use, but I think Tim at one point asked, like, would you use the actual liquid methane or the liquid oxygen and things like that? And I don't remember if he actually answered that or he was just like, it's, you know, because sometimes he cannot say those kinds of things, right? It's proprietary and all that. And yeah, there's been discussions out there that it's probably a highly proprietary kind of thing that they're doing with that. So, but there's only one tile, so it's not a huge breakthrough. But if they get a little bit of data, it's any little bit of data that's going to be, you know, immense full and very helpful.
While it might not be a huge breakthrough, it could be a huge burn through.
See, you're also doing the puns now.
Yep, absolutely. Mark W. Which is saying, got my signed flight patch today. Congratulations to that. Of course, they were part of the Dan and Jack Amazing Adventure. So, congratulations. Byteford with a super chat, $25. Thank you so much, Byteford, for all of your support. Saying, you guys are doing great. Alex is being silly, and Adrian will release the patch once the stack occurs. Correct. I received
Doesn't
my
take
truck
any
patch
effort
today.
to make me look silly.
Take some. My Flight 9 special patch is on its way. Keep up the fun. We will, Byteford. We will. Thank you all so much for that support. With that, I'm looking at the back channel. Am I closing this?
I think we're good to clear out, right?
Okay,
And head
I
out
see
for
it.
the
Yeah.
day.
Okay, cool. Let me thank some people here. Starting with Jay and Kevin. I think actually Kevin. Am I just thanking Jay for production?
Just Jay. Don't. Yeah, Kevin has been
Excuse me. I was the views operator.
What is the views operator?
So, thanks Kevin for being the views operator, and thanks
You're
Jay
welcome.
Keegan for being the producer. Also,
Plus, I was
thanks,
part
Kevin.
of commentary.
Yeah, that's true. You were, but I was
Yeah.
about to thank you. You were part of commentary.
The
before you
official
interrupted me.
ChatGPT.
That's your new business title at NSF. You're like our LLM operator.
Correct. Okay. Goodbye.
Thank you, Kevin.
Okay,
we had
goodbye.
Adam earlier on today. Adam was giving us a very insightful weather report. So if you just turned into this late, there was some actually very insightful information.
Yeah,
in
not
this,
the squirrel
in this counter
things.
to launch. Yeah, like go back a bit.
Scroll like that way on the timeline. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Thank you so much, Adam, for that, and I'm sure we'll hear from you later this week. We also had Chris Durgan on. Chris was joining us and helping us with some commentary earlier because Alex and I were alone here. Then, of course, thank you so much, Alex, for being on commentary with me here today.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna have a countdown to launch tomorrow. There might be another launch to countdown to, right? Also with our reusable rocket and reusable even payload. The payload is reusable. It's gonna be the X-37B launch on Falcon 9. It's gonna be late at night, so maybe the plans will change. We'll see. We'll see. But for the moment, I'm really waiting for that booster to roll out, get it on the pad, and let's see if this weekend we get the ship on the launch mount as well. So, well, not on the mount itself. That will be for Ship 38 after Flight 10, but on top of the booster on the launch mount.
There we go. I hope that as well. And I'm Adrian Bayer. I was your host for today's chaos. Yes, that I no longer controlled.
Chaos
I
to
want
launch.
point out, for legal reasons, I was not the one causing it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching for this episode of Countdown to Launch. Again, there will be more tomorrow. There's also a launch of Falcon 9 tomorrow. And of course, our Starship streams are already counting down on our channel. So if you want to stay updated on that, make sure to bookmark these streams and have them open, because we will adjust them as things change. And also check out the NSF socials. X, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and make sure you keep up to date on all of these news, because if there's something happening there, the socials will be the first ones to post it, and this week might be very update heavy.
Can I tease the other thing?
Oh God,
there might be a video coming out tomorrow, a very long video. It could have been longer.
Really coming out. It's coming out tomorrow?
It all depends on Ryan. It's in edited right now, so it all depends on Ryan. It's the video. It's a Raptor video. Anyways.
Cool. Thank you so much for watching. Let's watch this outro, please.
Let's go.
Please.
So about those launch dates, I think that may delay a bit.
We have liftoff. Propulsion continues to be nominal.
RS-68 chamber pressure looks good.
Doubling up. Roger, Atlantis.
Water towers, fly! Yes! Tango down to nominal.
Flighting down to speed off. Bring in speed off. Off. It's orange!
R45. Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage. Put that in the big bag, Jingle.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
This methane will be igniting flare, correct?
Ship 36 just blew up. Yikes. You good? We don't need any more of these.
You can fit 333,000 tarantulas on a starship.
Go away.
Why?